These aren't just facts, they're truths buried under silence. 9 psychological facts about human behavior, covert, dark, and dangerously real. These facts aren't just strange, they're weapons dressed as reality. You came here looking for understanding, but what you'll find is everything that was done to you, but never named. Let's begin. 1. Rejection triggers the same brain region as physical injury. You remember that moment. You were just sitting there, phone in hand, mind on fire. The message never came. The call didn't return. Your stomach twisted like you were punched, because your brain couldn't tell the difference. The anterior cingulate cortex processes social rejection and physical pain in the same neural pathways. This isn't heartbreak, it's trauma stored in the flesh. Your body wasn't being dramatic, it was being accurate. This is human behavior at its most vulnerable, the way absence hurts harder than presence ever healed. 2. Manipulators use empathy to build emotional traps. They weren't cold. They were attentive. They studied your tone, mirrored your fears, echoed your sadness. That's not empathy. That's a weapon. This is called inverted empathy. When someone reads your emotional state, not to comfort you, but to disarm you, they become everything you need until you can't breathe without their approval. Then they withdraw. That's when the panic sets in. This is dark psychology at work, not by attacking, but by understanding you too well. They don't hurt you by accident. They hurt you because they learned how. 3. Dissociation is not escapism. It's the nervous system's collapse. You're not zoning out. You're not lazy. You're gone. When the world becomes too unpredictable, when the emotional whiplash becomes constant, the body checks out. This is dissociation, and it's not a weakness, it's survival. Your voice sounds distant, your thoughts lag behind your body. You're present, but you're not in yourself anymore. Psychological facts confirm. Under chronic emotional threat, the brain separates awareness from sensation. It's the equivalent of a system shutdown. You didn't stop caring, you just ran out of capacity. 4. Charisma is the most respected form of deception. They said, everyone loves them. You were the only one afraid, because charisma is not sincerity. It's a tool. It creates social immunity. The more likable they seem in public, the harder it is for you to expose the truth in private. This is a manipulation tactic built into the fabric of personality psychology. People believe the performance, not the reality. So when they mock you behind closed doors and hug strangers in front of cameras, it's not contradiction. It's design. They weaponized their image, and you became the ghost who had to watch. 5. Repetition rewires identity more than violence ever could. They didn't insult you violently. They corrected you gently. You're too emotional. You're overreacting. You always think the worst. Repeated often enough, even lies sound like memories. Neuroscience shows that repetition creates neural grooves. You don't just believe them, you start repeating them to yourself. They didn't erase you. They turned you into their echo. This is manipulation in its most silent form, not a battle, but an erosion. They didn't shatter your identity. They leaked into it until it wasn't yours anymore. 6. Silence is the most addictive form of psychological control. They didn't need to scream, they vanished. When someone you care about refuses to respond, your brain flips into crisis mode. It floods with cortisol, it stops logical thinking, and it creates what's known as emotional withdrawal syndrome. They didn't ghost you. They trained you. They conditioned your behavior through absence. Every silence was a punishment. Every reply, a reward. This is dark psychology in motion. They make you crave their presence, not because it's good, but because their silence became intolerable. 7. Human beings become addicted to intermittent validation. Sometimes they were kind, other times they vanished. You never knew which version you'd get, but when the kind one came back, it felt like oxygen. That unpredictability wasn't chaos, it was deliberate. Intermittent reinforcement is one of the strongest psychological conditioning tools. It doesn't just shape animals, it controls humans. And the cruel part? Your brain releases more dopamine chasing inconsistency than it does receiving stability. This isn't love. It's emotional programming. You don't stay because you care. You stay because your nervous system is now chemically wired to seek their approval. 8. Mirroring isn't bonding. It's surveillance. You thought they were your soulmate. They liked everything you liked. Same music, same trauma, same timing. You thought it meant connection. It meant calculation. Mirroring in psychology is used to build rapport, but in manipulation, it becomes camouflage. They reflected your image so they could win your trust. Once you gave it, they dropped the act. They didn't fall out of love. They dropped the role they were playing. You weren't chosen. You were mapped. This is personality manipulation through imitation, where intimacy is staged, not shared. 9. Psychological decay doesn't explode. It fades you out. One day, you look in the mirror and the light is just gone. You don't remember the last time you slept without a clenched jaw or laughed without checking who's watching. This is psychological decay, not sudden, not loud. It grows under the floorboards of your mind. You tell yourself you're tired, but what you are is empty. You forgot what silence felt like before it meant punishment. You forgot how to be alone without bracing for disappearance. You forgot who you were, and the worst part, they'll tell you you've changed. Like they weren't the ones who disassembled you piece by piece. This video exposes 9 dark psychology facts that reveal how human behavior and personality manipulation truly work, quietly, systematically, and without mercy. It unpacks the silent ways people dismantle others through control, dissociation, and emotional erosion. No healing, no comfort, just raw psychological truths. If you've ever felt broken without knowing why, this isn't information, it's recognition. Once you see these patterns, you can't unsee them. This is not a warning, it's a mirror. If any of this felt like truth you were never allowed to say out loud, then don't subscribe for me. Subscribe because silence has lasted long enough.